welcome once again to another episode of Stu Him Productions Presents.
J&M, Solve the World. I am James.
And I am Matt. And tonight, we unfortunately...
We're doing another one of these.
Yes.
It's been a bad year.
It has. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the life and celebrating the life of the original Spaceman. Space Ace himself, Paul Ace Frehley.
That kind of fits.
Yeah. Nope.
Need like a UFO landing or something.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I want to start off with pointing out the obvious. We are wearing our blue shirts because in the Kiss solo records, Ace, as well as being on stage and anytime he was represented in the comic books, always had a blue aura around him.
Right.
Not gonna lie, by chance, I just tossed this in my bag yesterday, and it wasn't until I was halfway here that I realized what I did.
Karma.
Yeah. But James,
As if we're recording, It's been, 2 days?
Yeah.
So.
When was the first time that you heard either Kiss with Ace or Ace himself?
There's definitely been Kiss with Ace.
Okay.
God, the first time I probably heard him was on the Midnight Special.
Okay.
That was a show back in the 70s, hosted by Wolfman Jack, famous DJ and everything.
Ow!
And they performed live on there. It was like, this would have had to have been 74-ish, 75 maybe, because they started in 73, right?
They started in 70.
70, but I mean their first album was like...
Yeah, because their first four albums they really weren't that big, and it wasn't until
Just
Alive.
Yeah.
Because if people came out and saw them, it'd be like, oh my God, these guys are so great. It just didn't. It didn't.
Commercially sell.
Well, no, it didn't. Transition what you heard live versus what you heard on the radio,
right?
Because you didn't have the crowd and everything like that, and it was
early 70s. I think it was probably after Destroyer had came out.
Okay, so post Alive.
Destroyer really took off after Alive.
Yep.
You had Detroit Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, Beth, all that.
God of Thunder.
But anyway, the first time I seen him, I'm like, whoa, shit, what the hell is this? It kind of scared the shit out of me because, like I said, I'm like 7, 8 years old.
Right.
But I really loved the music.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, who's this demon dude with blood dripping off of his chin?
Right.
But that was probably the first time I heard him. And then my sister-in-law's sister was a huge Kiss fan.
Okay.
And Gary's first wife.
Yeah.
And she was, that's... If I didn't hear the songs from her first, Midnight Special would have been the first time I'd seen it. But then I that's where I really started getting into it. And it was like, this is cool,
Right.
I mean, when was the first time you heard Ace or...
So, growing up in rural Missouri, I think I had heard like Rock and Roll All Night on the radio or something like that. But
not really a lot around this area.
No, but and I did the math, in my head when we moved to Illinois from Missouri. Um, I was 7, 8 years old. This would have been 80, 81 ish. And friends of my mom's son had the 4 solo albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were jumping on his grandma's bed, and he had Gene's album because it looked cool, man. And I gravitated towards Ace.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always in my musical career, guitar players had always inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Ace was that first one. Seeing Kiss meets Phantom of the Park, and just seeing the cut up that he is, the interviews.
A little high squeaky voice that didn't look like it should come out of that man.
Right. God, what was that? Snyder.
Tom Snyder.
Yes, they were on his talk show.
When Ace was drunk as fuck.
And he just kept cracking jokes.
Yeah.
And
Gene was not happy.
oh no. And this was early on in their career because Gene was wearing like the skull and crossbones shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I always liked Ace's costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Of
course, I remember we, in grade school, I guess it would have been for me, the Kiss trading cards
Oh yeah.
was coming out and everything. And I had a friend of mine, a couple friends of mine that was collecting them. And it's like, here, I've got like 4 of these. Here, have one of them, you know. And so I built my collection that way off of their doubles and shit. And I remember the gum, you know, because they called them bubble gum cards back then. You know, your baseball cards, football cards, all of them had a stick of gum in them.
Yep.
The worst gum of all trading cards was the Kiss gum. I don't know why. They didn't invest a lot on the gum manufacturer.
No.
But what was cool about the cards was when you flipped it over, it was a puzzle piece.
Ah, yes, I remember
And if
that.
you had the whole collection, you had the Destroyer cover.
Yes.
Where they're coming out of the rubble, you know.
Yep. Yep.
And then there was a rumor going around then because, you know, Paul showed off his whole chest.
Yep.
You know, Gene showed off a lot of his chest and everything. But the rumor that was going around our school, and I don't know if it was real or not, that Ace had been in a knife fight and his chest was all scarred up. That's why he wore the full body thing. That was the rumor going around, you know. Of course, kids from the Midwest talk about guys from New York. It's like, yeah, that's plausible.
Yeah.
That's fucking plausible. He may have just not had any pecs and didn't want to show them off.
Well,
or he might have had a bald chest.
But then again, it played on the character.
Oh yeah.
Being a spaceman.
Yeah, you're not going into space with your chest exposed.
Exactly. You know, my favorite costume that Ace ever wore is the Dynasty. And I know they were starting to get into the disco thing, but it was the full silver suit, and he had the cape. Of course, at that time, Gene had the red cape and everything. But that Ace Frehley, to me, was just like, it's like boom.
Yeah.
The Dress to Kill, I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, the full makeup and suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they borrowed from Bob Ezra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because none of them had a suit.
Right. But I mean, you have to. I mean, first time I seen a smoking guitar was Ace Frehley.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, I'd seen Jimi Hendrix put his guitar down on the stage and put lighter fluid on it and light it on fire.
Right.
And then play it, you know, because, you know, lighter fluid burns out pretty quick. But Ace, he's sitting there playing a solo, and all of a sudden smoke's coming out of the middle of his guitar.
Yes.
And come to find out later in life that they'd removed that pickup and basically had a smoke bomb in there.
Yeah. But they had it rigged up to where he would press on the center of that humbucker and it would like ignite.
Right.
Um, I've got his book, his biography, and it's amazing to read it and really go down the trip of, you know, why they called him Ace. He was always Ace. The name goes back to, because he's from the Bronx. Because he was always the guy that could get stuff. Oh,
okay.
man, you're aces. You're aces.
Yeah.
And it just stuck because, well, they already had a Paul.
Right. Even though that wasn't his real first name.
Right. Stanley, I believe, is his real first name. And then, of course, Gene Simmons, his real first name is Chaim.
Yeah.
If you ever watched Gene Simmons' Family Jewels,
You know, if you take some decongestant, that'll clear that up.
anytime he talked to his mom, and of course, she had a Kiss shrine at her house. But, you know, just some of the stuff that Ace did as a rock star. They were, I forget exactly where they were. I think they were up north recording, and they pretty much got trapped up in their hotel. They couldn't leave. And that's when Ace glued everything to the ceiling. I mean, took the whole hotel room and just flipped it and glued it to the ceiling.
Must have that super glue that the construction worker had on and hanging from
Crazy
his helmet.
glue.
Crazy glue.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it you know, I remember I was in the Marine Corps and I was stationed out in California, and a bunch of us went up to LA and found this club that was advertising the Doors of Perception. So, and this was before they actually did the tour with Ian Ashbury and the Doors.
Oh, okay.
Something came out to where they weren't allowed to use the Doors.
Right.
So they went by Doors of Perception. Well, before they took the stage, was not advertised, but it was Peter Criss and special guest Ace Frehley. I mean, a little like lounge.
Right.
And it's just like, holy shit.
That was after they'd left the band, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dwight brought this up to me. We were talking, and he was like, he was mentioning when I saw Kiss on that Kiss Aerosmith tour, and it hadn't been released that Ace had left the band and Tommy Thayer was now wearing the makeup. And looking on the big screen, I knew immediately.
Right.
Because Tommy wasn't wearing a handful of, you know, he didn't have a handful of rings.
Right.
His fingernails weren't painted. And the way that he used a pick, because Ace's fingers were always curled in like a fist. And he played like that. And you saw all four rings, and his fingernails were always painted. Whereas Tommy, he was loose with the pick. And, you know, I'm not saying anything against Tommy Thayer, but I got those tickets specifically to see Ace Frehley in makeup.
Right.
But, you know, Dwight was like, dude, your attention to detail, like, who else would have caught that? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh shit. You know?
Well, it's like today we're at MFA and they were talking about horror movies, and you started, I'm like, okay, girls, you're in trouble because this is a mountain of useless information here.
Yes. 1987, Ace Frehley released the album Frehley's Comet.
Mm-hmm.
And it had Rock Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
which,
I think I had that cassette.
yes, which he talks about when he wrecked his DeLorean.
Mm.
And
Was he trying to go back to the future?
no, this was before that.
Oh, yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You know, and he talks about the devil being in the passenger side of his DeLorean automobile. He said, "Hey, Frehley, let's not be silly or something like that. There's a life out there to steal." And that was around the time that Ace got the scars on his face, which was another thing that I pointed out when I saw him. And
That's why he started wearing a beard,
yes,
primarily, you know, if he wasn't in makeup and stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
And right after that, Kiss was doing a photo shoot, and they told him he wasn't allowed to have like anything over that. So they pretty much painted half of his face, and his face is turned to where all you see is the makeup. You don't see the other side. And it wasn't until like some of the concert footage from Creatures that you actually seen him with the scars on his face. A lot like Hank Williams Jr.
Right.
He wore the beard.
And the big dark glasses
yep,
and everything.
after-
Because his face was like
Well, he
basically demolished in that fall.
fell off of a mountain and landed
Right.
on his face.
Yep.
But
I remember on that 70s show, they had Ace on there one time. And I think it's Don Jameson or something said, you know, Ace, there was a rumor back in the 70s that you went both ways or something. And he's like, yeah, I can't say. It was the 70s. And that's when he broke out. He said he had a special instrument he was going to break out for him. And he pulls out a flute. He starts playing it and it starts smoking. He had the first ever smoking flute.
yeah, I mean, think about it. His influence.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think we would put Ace up there with Eddie Van Halen, Dimebag as far as elite shredding guitar players.
Right.
Randy Rhoads,
But
hell,
as
Glenn Campbell for that matter,
Yeah.
whatever.
Roy
but
Clark, yeah.
Influential guitar players,
Yes.
he is right up there
Yes.
because
Without Ace Frehley, there is no Pantera. There is
that's
no
what I was gonna
Skid
say.
Row.
Yeah,
The plethora of bands that are out there that have talked about Kiss being, you know, a big influence on their careers. And you know, Dime, you know, there's the story. Dime would sit there and pose in front of the mirror with a Les Paul knockoff wearing Ace makeup, and Vinny asked him one day, "You going to learn to play that thing, or are you just going to sit there and pose?"
right.
And
That's when he locked himself in his room for 6 months. And
yep, and he still had that guitar.
Yeah.
I remember on one of the Dime Vision videos, they had routed out a space for a third pickup, and he had like actual smoke bombs in it.
right.
Not like, hey, I'm gonna push this and it's gonna spark and light.
No,
and
it's-
da-da-da. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you couldn't play it. But you know, it's
Well, he had the Kiss tattoo.
yeah.
Then he had the Kiss faces on his Dean from Hell. And
Well, actually, the Dean from Hell and the Tobacco Burst, the Tobacco Burst Dean that he had, that one had the Rock and Roll All Night Kiss heads. And then the Dean from Hell, he cut out the cover of Alive.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he had Ace tattooed up on his chest, and then he had Ace actually sign it, and immediately got it tattooed. I mean,
Shit, him and Vinny are buried in Kiss caskets.
yeah. Dime was actually buried in the very first
Right.
Kiss casket. Now, here's something that I read earlier today. The great Jimmy Page, after he heard of the passing of his longtime friend, Ace Frehley, he walked out on stage with his Les Paul slung low and just started playing Kiss tunes.
Nice.
I mean, this is the great Jimmy Page. And here he is.
Don't know Led Zeppelin, look it up.
Yeah. Here he is
Yardbirds.
paying homage to Ace Frehley. Little known fact, if you read Ace Frehley's book, he was Jimi Hendrix's roadie.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, if the music career didn't take off, he was going to become an electrician, like his pops. But, you know, Ace... Some people may think that Kiss music is, you know, it's not that difficult. I mean, shit, we had 4 Kiss tunes in our repertoire, and 2 of them just happened to be Ace Frehley tunes. Of course, one of them I didn't like playing because that's...
Brought back the bad memories from the first gig when you popped your G-string.
It was my E string.
Oh, okay.
And on the video, Chris was like, "Oh, you broke your G string? What?"
That very guitar right there?
Yes. This bass right here. Astro Puke 2000. That is a one-of-a-kind... Here, let me move that. There we go. One-of-a-kind paint job. And it does have strings on it. They're just black. Painted by James.
I was telling him earlier, that's probably the oldest surviving paint job I have out there right now.
Because that was
97? No, our first gig was in 96.
It wasn't green.
It wasn't green yet?
No.
Okay.
Not until we started playing Springfield.
So yeah, it probably was 97, somewhere in there.
Almost 30 years old.
Yep.
And it still looks good.
Most of the cars I painted back then, except for maybe a couple show cars, probably in the salvage yard now.
Yeah. Favorite Ace tune? One that you could listen to over and over and over and over again.
Well, see, I'm not as versed in who wrote who, or who
That was
wrote what from Kiss.
Yeah. Who made who? That was an Ace tune.
Yeah.
That was an AC/DC tune.
But see, what was the 2 songs you said that we did?
Parasite and, of course, Cold Gin.
Cold Gin, yeah.
Shock Me was an Ace tune.
Shout Out Loud, Ace tune?
That I can't remember. I know he wrote a couple of songs, and it was before he was comfortable with singing. So Gene would sing or Paul would sing. And even on his first solo album, Frehley's Comet, he didn't sing every song.
Right. Just going from that list, I'd have to say Cold Gin. But every time I hear it now, I throw in our hook on it,
Yeah.
the three-headed chick.
Yeah. And I listened
Because
to,
that was such a fun, to me, it was
dude.
such a fun song to play.
It was, because we all got involved.
That we got to do our...
Dun, 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 dun. You know, while I was driving down here, I listened, Apple Music, I just put in Ace Frehley and I let it play. And even driving, and I'm sure the people in Clinton thought I was out of my mind because that song came on and I'm at the stoplight and that part, and I'm still sitting in my truck. You know, I'm going through the whole thing. Well, okay. Earlier you said you thought Parasite was an Anthrax song.
Yeah, when we first started learning it, because that's the version I'd heard.
Right.
I hadn't heard the old Kiss version at that point.
You know, it's not an Ace tune originally, but he is most well known for New York Groove.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought that was on his solo record.
It is.
The solo Kiss record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it.
He didn't write it.
No, he didn't write it, but it's like, let me think. Metallica, Whiskey in a Jar.
Yeah.
Okay. You would think that that's a Metallica tune.
Mm-hmm. Unless you listen to old Irish folk songs.
Right. And and I mean, they got it from Thin Lizzy, and Thin Lizzy didn't even write it. But it's like that song is synonymous with Metallica,
Right.
or Am I Evil, Blitzkrieg,
yeah.
you know, So What? Yeah. But back in the New York Groove, but that's a song that I could listen to over and over again. And listening to the music on the way down, it was just like stuff that I remember hearing back in the day. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. And Gene and Ace were really good friends. Gene has talked about it. Ace talked about it in his book. Gene didn't want to, he didn't want to be the guy that pushed Peter and Ace out of the band the first time. But it's like they were partying, and it's like the music came second. And at that time,
that didn't fly with Gene and Paul because they were strictly business.
Yeah.
Didn't party.
No.
I mean, they partied with girls, but they didn't do drugs, and they didn't do alcohol. And
Gene, as a matter of fact, it wasn't until after Gene was married to Shannon, which
hasn't been that long ago.
Right.
mean,
a couple years, maybe 10 years.
10 years.
But I mean, fuck, they've been together 40.
Right.
But it wasn't until his aches and pains, and he finally, like, Shannon just kept on him, and he finally smoked weed, and it just relaxed him, and he wasn't in pain or anything, and it's just like, wow, and Ace had been doing it, and that's what. Unfortunately, and Gene said this in his statement. He said, unfortunately, Ace wasn't able to hold on until December. He never got a chance to be honored at the Kennedy Center, which tells me that Kiss is being honored at the Kennedy Center this year. And when they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the reason why they didn't play is because they didn't induct all the members of Kiss.
Right. They just inducted the original 4.
Right. You know, and we've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast and everything, but I mean, Bruce Kulick was what, 18 years in the band,
Yeah,
something like
15,
that.
18 years. Yeah.
Yeah, the longest, well, was I think Tommy Thayer now has 21.
Something like that. But that Eric Carr,
Yeah,
took over after Peter and was there for a long time until his death from cancer.
yep. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Eric Carr from Creatures of the Night until Hot in the Shade, and even after that, they released Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting to say that was,
The last song Eric played on was the God Made Rock and Roll For You
yep.
off Bill and Ted's.
And then you got Eric Singer, who joined during Revenge. And first time they put the makeup back on, Tupac was still alive, because they came out to present an award on the MTV Video Awards. It was Tupac and Snoop and the 4 original members of Kiss in full makeup. And I mean, here comes this 7-foot dude.
Well, with his 7-inch leather heels.
Yeah.
Platforms.
Ace didn't move around as much as Paul. Gene didn't move around as much as Paul. And how Paul was able to run and kick and jump and everything in those platforms and still be able to walk.
He'd have made a hell of a stripper, you know it? Not that I've been to a strip club or nothing.
Yeah. But I gotta give it, I think I don't know, I could be wrong. But it's like Ace Frehley was the first one that had an actual signature guitar from Gibson that had his face on it.
Could be.
The headstock of his signature Les Paul had his face up on the headstock, lightning bolts as the inlays, and it had the triple humbuckers.
Right.
I mean, because I know like Slash had one and Jimmy Page had one, and so many people had one. It was like the
But you'd look at it, and it looked like a regular Les Paul, except for their signature up on the headstock or somewhere on the guitar.
Ooh, the electronics are different.
Yeah.
But you see that Tobacco Sunburst Les Paul triple humbuckers, the lightning bolt inlays, and then Ace's face up on the headstock. I mean, there was no denying whose guitar that was.
Right. You ever have a signature amp from Marshall? I don't remember hearing of an Ace Frehley's signature amp.
No, I don't.
I know on that metal show they asked him, they said, what was the secret of your tone? He said, I turned everything up to 5. Low, mid, high, gain, volume, everything was on 5. That was his sound. He wasn't scooping the mids or nothing.
No.
Everything was on 5.
he didn't have he didn't use a wah or never had a floating tremolo. It was always the stop tailpiece and 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 this is even in his height of partying. Before every tour, he thought up a new way to do his solo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he had the Les Paul that was lit,
Mm-hmm.
that would sit there and the lights would chase.
Right.
The Psycho Circus tour, um, he would um, hologram. He would start a solo, and he'd be playing, and then he'd sit there and spin, and then he would pop up over here
Mm-hmm.
and spin, and then it'd pop up over here,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, he's up in the rafters,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would start coming down
Mm-hmm.
the things and everything. And I mean, just coming up with different stuff all the time. The song "Shock Me."
Mm-hmm.
He explains how that song came about.
In a rainstorm?
Nope.
No.
They were going up on stage, and apparently there was some water on the ground, and he had stepped in it and grabbed the handrail, and yeah, it shocked the piss out of him.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it's his latest album, which was released last year, called 10,000 Volts. It's, from what I've listened to, it's pretty fucking good. The solo records, the Kiss solo records. Gene had a huge departure from Kiss. Paul's sounded a lot like Kiss because, well, Paul was the
Those
main,
vocals.
right?
Right.
Peter's was like a lot of ballads and stuff, but it's like Ace hung on to that hard rock sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nothing really slowed down until you got to the instrumental Fractured Mirror,
Mm-hmm.
which Space Ace, tribute to Ace Frehley. It's a compilation. Dime and Vinny actually recorded that song for that. Dave the Snake Sabo, Sebastian Bach, Lita Ford, Russ Parrish, better known as Satchel from Steel Panther, played on that album. And just a bunch of different people, and it's like they're just thrown in and they're doing these Ace Frehley songs, and Diamond Vinny doing Fractured Mirror is just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could go on and on and on talking about Ace Frehley because he was the first influence I had that I wanted to be in music.
Right.
And, got to accomplish that ish. Well, we were professional musicians.
We were. We got
got
to open for
paid.
Jackal and Vixen.
And we got paid.
Then we got paid. I'd say weekly.
Very weekly.
Very weekly.
None of us had a drug problem. None of us went to rehab. I was the only one that kind of had groupies.
Well, when we
groupie.
first started, I wasn't married yet, but
Well,
I was dating my current wife.
mm-hmm.
Chris was married
Yep.
when we first started. The only other one was He Who Shall Not Be Named, and then he got one groupie, and that's what ended up causing him to leave the band.
Yeah.
Which
And
he would have never met her if he hadn't have been in the band.
right. And I hate to admit it, but it was because of him that we did Kiss songs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which I didn't have a problem with it because I like him. So.
Yeah. But I mean,
I wish we'd have done Shout Out Loud.
yeah.
I always liked that song too.
Da, da,
Or Detroit Rock City.
oh my God, that would have been.
Would have had to have the recording to play through the PA at the end of it, though.
I could never remember or figure out what song.
I don't know why we didn't do Detroit Rock City because, honestly, technically, it wasn't that hard of a song.
No.
Not any harder than anything else we were doing at the time.
Oh God.
You know.
I think
especially
it was because
during a verse.
Yeah, I think it was just because of we already had 4.
Probably.
And we didn't want to be the Kiss cover band.
And we kind of also had a deal too where we didn't like to do the most popular songs from bands.
Right.
That's why we never did do Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Because that was the hot Metallica song.
Mm-hmm.
We could have done Enter Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
But we chose to do Seek and Destroy and For Whom the Bell Tolls and stuff, you know. But then later on, after you had left, we learned Die, Die, My Darling, which was not a Metallica song, but it was.
Yeah, it was a Misfits tune, but they recorded it for
Garage Inc.
Yeah, Garage Incorporated.
Mm-hmm. Which was a fun, easy song.
Yeah.
It's all over one position.
But there you go, folks. Leave us a comment down below. Your favorite memory of Ace Frehley, the first time you heard Kiss with Ace, or the first time you heard Ace. But please leave us a comment, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give us a thumbs up.
Or I heard on another podcast this week, give us a thumbs down. Because apparently YouTube likes it either way.
Yeah.
As long as it's a response.
Look, even the shorts, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Just if you don't want to comment because you're shy or something, leave an emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a poop emoji or
right.
Leave an emoji or something.
And that's whatever your YouTube screen name is. We can't click on the name and get any information on you.
We could respond to your comment.
Yes.
Or your emoji.
Yes.
Send us a booby emoji. That'd be cool.
I think that's like a watermelon.
Watermelon's booby emoji?
Or a cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 cantaloupes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the booty emoji is the peach.
Yeah. Of course, if you're really lopsided, leave a watermelon and a cantaloupe.
Yeah. Okay. But there you go, folks. You have just watched another episode of Stu Him Productions presents
J&M Solve the World. I have been James.
And I have been Matt. And until next time, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.